Okay, I thought I would make a video about the Osmo Action DJI 3. And there's a lot of misconceptions going on about focus and different parts of what's going on with it. The camera I'm looking in right now was the first one I bought. I am recording in 2.7K 30 frames a second Rocksteady Plus. Now, a lot of people will record in 4K 30. I've done that. I've checked it. It doesn't look any different to me. So by recording in 2.7K 30 frames a second, the file's a lot smaller and it really makes it a lot easier for editing. Now in Power Director, I can produce it at 4K 30, which is what I'm going to do. And it looks just fine to me on YouTube. Now, this first camera had problems with the audio. A lot of people had problems with the focus. How do I look? Do I look okay? I sent this camera in. It took a week of emails with DJI. You knew you weren't talking to somebody who speaks English. So I had to make videos. I had to show them how the left and the right weren't working properly. I mean, I really had to jump through some hoops to explain what was going on. And they finally said send it in. They sent me a new camera. And this is the one I got. I think it looks fine. So then I bought a second camera, which is this one here I'm looking at, which again is set to 2.7K 30 frames a second Rocksteady Plus is what I'm doing with this camera. So this camera came in today. This has had no fixes to it, no nothing to it, and I think it looks pretty good myself. Now I'm doing this test not only for you to see, but also so I could see the difference between the two cameras. Now all the audio is coming through my Rode 2, is what's going on with that. And in post, I will edit the audio of this camera out normally, but I'm going to leave the audio of this camera in so you can see what the audio sounds like that doesn't have the Rode 2 on it. So that way you can get an idea of how the Action 3 sounds with just straight out of the box, with very little settings done to the actual camera. Now, I did upgrade this camera when it came in today, and the upgraded twice. So when you upgrade this camera, when it does its first upgrade, do not think that it's done. Literally sit there and wait a good 15 seconds or so for it to pop up again on your app to say I need to upgrade, and then perform that final upgrade. And then it went. Now, I love DJI Action 3 camera, this one. That's why I bought two. But even with the DJI 1, which is this one here that I own, they had all kinds of issues with that one too. And it took them a good 6 months, or if not more, to get that camera in order. This camera is probably the best action camera out there that you can get. There's nothing better. Now, a lot of people will go with the GoPro. Everybody goes for the brand name. They say it's USA. It's not made in USA. It's made in China. The guy that runs GoPro, he's just a good marketer. That's all. There's nothing about GoPro that has ever been fixed. GoPro always overheats. The way it names its files is just complete bullshit. Now, let me explain that. When DJI starts to record, it'll make like, I don't know, a 2 meg file or whatever. And then every time it makes a file, it names it. But the names are proper. So let's say I'm out, I start my camera, it made 4 files, and then I shut my camera off. And then I start my camera again, and it makes another 4 files. You actually know what files you did at those times. So if you're making video for a weekend or a week, and you've got 100 files sitting on that camera that you're dumping over to edit, you know what sections belong where. That makes editing beautiful. You have no idea. Where with the GoPro, No, it doesn't do that. The files are all over the place. You don't know what goes where. I mean, you end up with 100 files on a GoPro, you'll be sitting there for hours trying to figure out what matches. And that's just not me. I'm at a point now with my video editing that I want to take video quickly. I want to edit it quickly. I want to produce it quickly. I want to upload it quickly. I just want things to be a lot smoother. And that's why I'm recording in 2.7K. I really don't see a difference. When you record in 2.7K, the files are smaller, so the editing and everything's a lot quicker, even the uploads. So that's really nice. So I want to see this new camera that came in today that I'm looking at right now, how that's going to look on YouTube, and do I look clear enough or am I blurry? Where this camera that went back and came back to me about an audio board and they did fix the focus too, does it look the same? If it does, then that means this camera that I bought almost a month ago to where this camera came in today, that means DJI has their issues fixed and everything's going good. Now, if you have a camera that is not focused very good, then you should contact them and mail it in and get it a new camera sent back to you. Unless you want to be walking around with yourself out of focus. You have to understand when a company says, "Oh, we'll go from 30 meters to infinite in focus," that's a lie. I mean, I don't know why DJI said that. There is no camera that will be infinite focus. There is a reason when you start buying $2,500 cameras, they come with multiple lenses, all different sizes, and they're all made for a different purpose. You're not going to get a camera that pretty much does it all. Your phones are probably pretty good, but nothing is perfect. So why buy two of DJI instead of just one like I did? Well, a lot of times I'll do time lapse, I'll do sunsets, and that ties up my camera. And your camera could be tied up for 3 or 4 hours doing whatever it's doing. To where now, if I see something, I don't get it. I don't get the shot. To where if I've got two cameras, one camera can be doing the time lapse, or the other camera I can actually be using, and that's kind of nice. In this situation where I'm using two cameras to talk into, the colors actually remain the same because both cameras are identical. I don't have to apply LUTs. I don't have to dance around. I don't have to do anything because the cameras are identical. The colors are identical. The settings are identical. That makes everything really, really easy to set up and edit when it comes down to this. And that is very, very important. The other thing, I like backpacking, so these Osmo Action 3s are pretty awesome when it comes to them being light. I mean, it's just so awesome to carry them with you compared to carrying a big camera. And they seem to do the job. Now, from what I'm seeing from the screen I'm looking at, my focus looks pretty good. I hope it does when I put it on YouTube. And this is number one camera here. So if you're thinking about buying the Action DJI 3, here you go. This is the first camera I bought, which I sent back and had the audio boards fixed and the focus fixed. Took about 3 weeks to come back. And this one is a brand new camera that came in today. Does it really need to go back, or does the focus look okay, or does everything look all right? And that's what I'm actually seeing here. So I'm very pleased with it. I'm very pleased with DJI, how they do things in their menu systems. I'm very happy with how the files are saved, which GoPro's never fixed. GoPro always overheats. GoPros are just a pain in the ass. They just don't work like they should. A lot of people were looking at the focus issue. They weren't thinking about the files. They weren't thinking about any of that stuff. DJI Action does so many things better than GoPro. It's unbelievable. I have a couple GoPros, and because every year that GoPro released a new version, they never ever fixed anything like overheating or the files or other things. They just kept adding more features to it when they never fixed what was broke, which to me seems kind of stupid. Now, DJI goes out of their way to fix things. I mean, like when they had those focus issues, I mean, they had, I don't know how many people sent them in and they fixed it. As you can see, hopefully, from this camera. And that means now that it's fixed, and I hope it is, then the next upgrade to come out is going to make DJI even better. And that's what happens with their cameras. So I don't see any problems now. And like I said, I recorded 2.7K, 30 frames a second, and rock steady plus on. I've got one set up to my right, which is the new camera. I've got one set dead on, which is the older camera pointing at me, which I've got the Rode 2 hooked up to. So, if you're thinking about buying the DJI Osmo Action 3, you decide. Because this needed to go back, and I had it for a month ago or a month and a half, and this one came in today. So have they fixed everything, and how does it look to you on the actual camera? And I'll catch you guys on the next one.